Crisis triggers unrest in Sierra Leone.
Confirmed case of monkeypox identified in a patient hospital.
New cases of Zika in Florida. Tonight,
2 billion people could catch the H1N1 flu virus.
Coronavirus has now spread to every continent except...
If we face an immediate threat and we are challenged and perhaps our life is in danger, we react.
The CDC has now increased the emergency response.
We try to protect not only ourselves, but our family, our children. But if that threat passes.
Fascinating to get such an in-depth look at somebody at the forefront of vaccinations, at the forefront of public health, dealing with public health crises, and using research, which is something that typically takes a long time, and needing to expedite it for the common good. And it's great to get to see beyond the headlines, to know the humans who tackled these crises and some of their tactics, their skills, their missions throughout. I thought was really illuminating. The pacing of this piece was great because there needed to be that momentum throughout. It's a high intensity job. It's an important job. And they have a lot riding on these decisions. I think there's that lovely, lush musical score underneath, and I thought it drove the intensity with a touch of the epic in a great way as well. The progress made for COVID was pretty epic, so it was well deserving of the score, and I love that ultimate feeling we got of pathos and that swell of emotion when it worked.
To be prepared for the next pandemic is one of the focuses of this, and how not doing that has led to a lot of the chaos with previous pandemics. Better surveillance, needs to be the focus so we can detect a pandemic coming. Overall, this was really a call to action to invest in these resources so that these preventative measures are in place. A quote that comes to mind: starting on the runway rather than at the gate. And how it makes this passion plea is it uses past pandemics as examples, what went wrong, what could have gone better, and that becomes the basis of the argument in this documentary.
This was a really, really cool film, and it was also very educational too. I loved what the filmmakers did with their use of past news footage and how they peppered that into the entire film. The interviews with everybody, it was so great. Cinematography was on point. It was really nice. But finding out everything that this team did, because I remember when H1N1 had come out and how frightening everything was about that, and listening to the team and what they did to make sure that everything was going to be safe, but to hurry it along to be able to get that coronavirus vaccine was really amazing. I mean, stunning, and thank God that we had that team in place. I think that one of the things that the filmmakers did correctly was the pacing of this. They did so many things correctly, but the pacing of this was great because it kept you engaged throughout the entire film, and it's highlighting some really important points. So great job with this. Educational, fascinating, wonderful.
We get to have this moment to get a peek into what happens when a pandemic goes down, what happens when a pandemic gets out of control. We get to see different instances of outbreaks to diseases and viruses, such as Ebola and COVID-19, and how these have different interactive relationships with one another, and how these skilled professionals from all of these different places came together to enact in a solution when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic. We get to watch the team essentially form into their journey to ultimately create the vaccine, to only show that these issues are going to continue to arise and continue to change. So, what testing, what rules do we need to shift in order to make things go quicker and accessible, but at a rate that is not risking individuals as well? So we sort of get to see these respectable individuals sort of go through these different journeys within the space of science and politics.
Fantastic documentary, just filled with so much valuable information, both for someone interested in vaccines and the process and even the bureaucracy and all that around how they are created, but also to I guess maybe offer some reminder or reassurance to people who ever had any doubts about vaccines and how all that is handled. That there are people working for the benefit of the greater good. There are, of course, as the documentary reminds us, people working almost against it. Specifically, the executive branch in 2020 in the U.S. So it was. I just thought it's an important piece. It's a great piece, very informative. It's nice to see some of the faces and the people and the personalities behind all that great work that went into making so rapidly an effective and safe vaccine. These were names I wasn't familiar with. I haven't looked too much. I hadn't tried to peek behind the curtain and see what was going on behind and who was responsible. But I was glad that I watched this and got to see some of those people because they just seem like genuinely smart, responsible, and thoughtful people, the kind of people you would want and are glad were holding the positions they did at the time they did.
Like, it's really like knowledgeable. It's really insightful with some medical and technical aspects of the knowledge. So I feel like it's gonna be like pretty important for us to learn about this part before the bad thing happens again.